On December 24, 1999, just as the world was preparing for the new millennium, one of India's darkest hours unfolded. Indian Airlines Flight IC-814, with 176 passengers on board, took off from Kathmandu, Nepal, heading for New Delhi. But this routine flight quickly turned into a nightmare. 40 minutes into the flight, 5 armed men took control of the aircraft, brandishing weapons and ordering the pilots to divert the plane. The destination? An uncertain journey through multiple countries, first Lahore, then Dubai, and finally Kandahar, deep in the heart of Taliban-controlled Afghanistan. For hours, the hijackers made the passengers endure a terrifying journey across South Asia. In Lahore, Pakistan, the plane was refueled, but the hijackers showed no mercy. The aircraft then touched down in Dubai, where 27 hostages, including women and children, were released. But the ordeal was far from over for those left behind. Back in India, panic and fear gripped the nation. Families of the passengers were glued to their TVs, desperate for any updates. The hijackers had made their demands clear: the release of 3 high-profile terrorists, including Maulana Masood Azhar, the founder of the terrorist group Jaish-e-Mohammed. The Indian government was thrust into an agonizing situation. On one hand, the safety of the hostages was paramount. On the other, giving in to terrorist demands risked emboldening extremists. Days passed as the government engaged in tense negotiations with the Taliban, who had taken control of the plane and hostages in Kandahar. By December 31st, after a grueling 7-day standoff, the Indian government made the painful decision to agree to the hijackers' demands. The 3 terrorists were released in exchange for the passengers. The hostages were finally freed, but the hijacking left deep scars, both on those who had lived through the horror and on a nation that had to grapple with the consequences of negotiating with terrorists. The story of IC-814 is not just about a hijacking, it is a story of fear, resilience, and sacrifice. It raised tough questions about national security, international diplomacy, and the high cost of protecting innocent lives. For the passengers, this was a life-altering experience, but for India it was a wake-up call. 20 years later, the memories of IC-814 still haunt the nation. It serves as a grim reminder of the complex and dangerous world we live in, where the decisions made in the face of terror can echo for decades.